Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about DoorDash canceled catering bag requirement, bad news, or making bank. One of the most valuable programs on the DoorDash platform is the large order program, and that means drivers should have catering bags on hand and be prepared to receive large orders, which makes sense, especially with the amount of orders that have trays and nothing else. However, DoorDash decided to lower the bar for those orders, and there's a lot of controversy about it. So with that said, we are talking about the update to the large order program, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research and consult qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything that we're going to be going over in this video is very market dependent on what applies to me, and my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. Before the update. Now, the LOP actually went through a lot of different updates since its inception, but prior to this update specifically, we were required to not only have a catering bag available, you had to register the bag in the system. Also, most drivers can end up with catering orders, but priority would go to Platinum Dashers on the tier system. That's assuming that's what your market offers. If you're like a Top Dasher only market, you may not have this update yet. After the update, I saw this image in the Behind the Wheel Discord server, a Discord server that's dedicated to helping gig workers level up their gig work game outside of any singular content creator. Now you can receive large orders without a catering bag. Good news! A catering bag is no longer required for accepting orders. So if you already have an insulated catering bag, we encourage you to keep using it. It's an ideal way to keep your customers' order at the right temperature every time. I love how DoorDash is like,
if you have already been a quality dasher doing the job right the entire time, we encourage you to keep doing that. We're just lowering the bar for platinum dashers and people with a higher acceptance rate to make our programs look better than they actually are. You know, at the customer's expense, because it's not coming out of our pockets. What, are you kidding?
Because what's going to happen is that drivers are going to show up picking up catering orders, and they're going to be surprised that a DoorDash driver doesn't have a catering bag, is going to bitch about the order not being like every other order. In terms of making this program part of its highest tier, that's actually part of the Grubhub playbook, where premium dashers kind of are major priority on Grubhub in order to get catering orders. As part of this update, the Dasher app will now display the label Large Orders Catering. Note that if you're at Platinum status in the Dasher Rewards program, you'll still enjoy access to large orders. That's pretty much the same page as Grubhub with their premium driver status. Long story short, if you're the highest tier in the system, then you're going to have priority over every other driver, and those tiers are based on acceptance rate. Public opinion. Let's go over what some other people are saying about it. Talk about lowering the bar for high-paying customers. That's genius, DoorDash. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, you're gonna get a bunch of drivers that are going to be upset because now they have to do things with these orders that they didn't have to do before with equipment that they don't have, and they're going to struggle with completing the orders because you're not requiring the proper equipment. And for the record, if you didn't invest into a catering bag when you had that order, what are you doing? Like, it's not that big of an expense, to be honest with you. And if you have a problem with investing into your own business, then you're not cut out to be in business for yourself. It's a fact. You are in business for yourself as a gig worker. You see all these people calling us employees, and here you are acting like an employee, complaining about investing into your business. You gotta pick a lane. Are you in business for yourself, or are you an employee for someone else? I just spent the last 2 weeks of my life of them rejecting my catering bag pictures, and they knew this entire time they were going to get rid of the requirement. I'm starting to wonder if DD actually cares about me. Tony cares. Remain steadfast, Platinum Dasher. I'm sorry, I can't take any of those comments about the company, or really any company, caring about their dashers that seriously. Come on. Like, I am all for certain business owners caring about their drivers, but of all companies, DoorDash? LOL, really? You once thought they did? No company cares about their employees, and DoorDash says you aren't even an employee, so they care even less. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Ah, this makes sense. I've never done catering orders before, and Saturday I got a large catering order from Pizza Hut. The kicker was the order wasn't even that big. It was like 2 pizzas, wings, and some dessert thing. Still, I got $18 for sub $5 5-mile delivery, though. That doesn't seem like a catering order at all. That just seems like a standard order. Although I will say this, if they're starting to put normal orders, because to me, that's kind of a normal order. If they're starting to put a normal order like that as a large order, that's going to be really bad for the future of DoorDash drivers. Because think about it like this, if that standard order is now considered a large order and it's paying $18, that's pocket change for most catering drivers. I had to decline multiple orders recently for $30, $40, $45, because I already have my tomorrow booked out during that time, so I couldn't even accept them. And now here you are with a $18 order sub 5 miles and calling it a catering order, and it's not even that big. Like, seriously, that's a problem. Customers gonna lose their minds. Yeah, you know, I will say this, a lot of the catering orders near me are to offices, to doctors' offices, and things to that effect. Customers are going to lose their crap. Because think about it like this, if you're just carrying each individual tray, and some of them are really hot, by the way, from your car to the wherever they gotta set up, that is going to be a nightmare and a half to get done. Imagine that for a second. I almost burned myself carrying a tray of beans from my bag to the counter, and that was like a 2-second transition. Customers will lose their goddamn mind if they see that. Just wait till the weather turns cold. Oh, that's another good point. If the weather turns cold, like I'm in Florida, I don't have to worry that much about that. The only time it's a little bit of an issue is when it's too hot and I'm dealing with cold items. But either way, if the weather turns cold where you are and you're getting catering orders, that's going to ruin the catering order. Awesome. Didn't have catering bag anyway, so the big orders, I have not done one yet, and I've been dashing for 7 months. So curious. See, that person's not even all that experienced and is about to have access to some of the better orders. I mean, good for them, but a lot of the drivers that are really committed to getting the job done right are going to be really upset about that, and so are the customers. I was wondering why I've gotten so many catering orders in the last couple of months after only getting one offer that wasn't worth taking my first 1,600 deliveries. I love it. I personally avoided signing up for catering because I wasn't going to spend $17 on a bag. But now that I don't have one, I do have 3 pizza bags. Maybe I should. What's a typical catering order look like? I mean, it is usually a big order for a church or party or something. Is it usually a long distance run? I freaking hate this comment so much. Like, I understand that he doesn't know what a catering order would look like or what the expectations are for it, especially when they are pretty much told to set up the order. But you are going to spend $17 on a bag. You wouldn't invest in your own business to make sure you have proper equipment, to make sure you could do the job right. Think about that. We are going to be sharing the same space with people that don't care enough. I'm just feeling a strong sense of ick. Tell me why I got my first catering order offer last week for like $7 and some change, but I declined it, and I got an order from the same restaurant for $24. The person just tipped really well. It was 2 meals and only like 3 miles away. Would the catering order have been higher after drop-off? Because I wasn't doing a catering order for $7. It depends on if they were hiding the tip, and the mileage would display that. But here's the thing about that. At the end of the day, it really does depend on the customer and what they're willing to tip. For me, the large majority of catering orders are either part of Deliver That, so there's a tip pooling system through Easy Cater. Some of them end up in the $25 range, some of them in the $20 range, but I typically only take orders that are 30 plus. Sometimes I'll take a lower one to do Jeff a favor from Food Fetched. Or like I don't really have anything during this off-peak time, so I'll do the off-peak order. Either way, that's a vital point. The customer's tip will determine the large majority of the value. It's just most people tip well on catering orders, in my experience. Now, I do have a couple of side notes that I would like to go over on this subject. How catering / Easy Cater orders work. Most of the large order program consisted of Easy Cater orders, and how that would work is that you would show up at a specific time with your bags in your wagon if it's necessary. And then with said wagon and bags, you would pick up the order, some in just trays and that's it. Some of them would be in like trays and bags, some just bags. Sometimes they provide a bag, but very few and far between. No bag means you're just carrying potentially hot tin trays into an office or house one at a time if you don't have a catering bag. Don't even get me started on distance and stuff because we'll be here all week. The Easy Cater bias. Now, some DoorDash drivers specifically will avoid Easy Cater orders and develop a bias on the company. And I'm not saying it's misplaced. Like, I understand if your only experience is with DoorDash and Easy Cater and some of them don't pay out well and you don't have any other experience with Easy Cater orders, your bias is going to be, oh, these orders suck. That said, there are apps that Easy Cater works with that provide high quality orders. Deliver That, Zifty, Food Fetched, Delivered, if you don't mind the scammy system that is. The list goes on for a while. Not to mention all the cartwheel companies. Either way, you would need catering bags just to be qualified for those orders. So just because you don't need catering bags on DoorDash doesn't mean you won't need them at all. New drivers versus experienced drivers. This section might be mistitled a little bit, but it seems like the major difference between the two opinions on this is whether or not you're experienced. New drivers are going to be happy because they have a chance to take better orders without really investing anything. Whereas experienced dashers will already have the bags or still have the bags, and whether they got it for free from the very beginning or they paid for them, and they've been a dasher for long enough to use them. In fact, experienced drivers will experience an influx of drivers eligible for these orders, which is not good for those who have been on the LOP because there's about to be an oversaturation of those who are qualified to take those orders. But what else is new, right? That's just DoorDash playbook. Then again, this will also open the door for dashers that refuse to invest in anything and do orders without the bag. And either way, the less prepared are in for a rude awakening for sure. Timing for this update. This update comes in August, a great time to prepare for the upcoming holiday seasons of mass money making. People are going to see a huge rush of catering drivers and people who are less educated to see this as DoorDash being more profitable than any other app. More specifically, the platinum status, because they're getting more of those orders that they don't need to invest more into. I am all for maximizing the value of a specific gig economy platform, but not at the expense of the profits that you're making and getting that 70-80% acceptance rate. Taking crappy orders from crappy people. Because at the end of the day, it'll be a wash. Remember, the holiday season is a season where everybody makes money for the most part, not just gig workers. Still not as good as multi-apping. I am still, have been, and always will be a firm believer in having a diverse gig portfolio and multi-apping. If you are on one gig app, especially for catering orders, you will be at a disadvantage. I already named a bunch that specialize in catering, but also don't forget to diversify your niches as well. Grocery delivery, construction, medical, tasks themselves, the list goes on. All in all, just make sure you're well diversified and never be too dependent on any one gig app. Did I miss anything? Is there something else about this update to the LOP and canceling the catering bag requirement that I have yet to cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that every perspective is heard and we can find ways to work around it so we can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time in the safest possible way. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.